What's up, everybody? This is Joe Vega, and welcome to another Flower Shop Secret podcast. And today, I'll be speaking with Rona Hullen of Our Flowers and Baskets in Discovery Bay, California. She finds it to be an honor to make arrangements for the people in her community during the emotional moments in life. She also runs her one-woman flower shop, completely wire service free. How does she do it? Let's find out. So the big question is this: how can small business owners like us in the floral industry overcome the greed of order gatherers and bypass the deceitful games played by wire services? How do we market, sell, and deliver flowers online so we may break free from these antiquated practices and earn our freedom? Those are some of the questions we will answer on this podcast. I'm Joe Vega. Welcome to Flower Shop Secrets. Hey, Rana, good to have you here. How's it going?
It's going great. Thanks for having me.
Oh, absolutely. So you have a pretty interesting backstory, but before we get to that, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? How did you get into the floral industry?
Well, I kind of just happened into it like everyone else. My daughter was getting married and I was looking for a way to save a little bit of money. And I thought, well, I wonder if I can do the flowers. So I went and I started researching and trying to train myself. And then I thought, why don't I just go get a job at the local florist and kind of be transparent with her and tell her what I'm up to and see if she can help me out. And so I ended up working there for about 4 months. And in the process, I absolutely fell in love with it. And I'm obsessed with it. I lay in bed every night and I'm listening to videos and training sessions. I'm like a sponge. I can't get enough of it. And it's been going like this for about 4 years. So anyway, that's how it started, was trying to save money.
Right.
And I thought it'd be kind of neat to do my own daughter's wedding, a little more personal, you know? And so that's where it all started. I just did not mean to become passionate about it. So here I am. I can't get enough of it.
So what's your background? What sort of professions did you have before this?
Well, I was a sales rep. I was a beverage rep. And I also bought my father's window cleaning company. And so I still currently own that. But my daughter runs the window cleaning company while I run the florist. And the florist is my 3-car garage. So I don't actually have a shop. I have a walk-in cooler and fill up the whole 3-car garage with all my florist stuff.
How much money did you guys make last year?
So my sales were 120.
Okay.
That's my gross last year. And I'm just a one-person shop. I do at holidays hire people to deliver for me. Get my kids in here helping me. It's kind of a family thing. And I just recently, I'm kind of excited about this. I just recently hired a gal to work a couple hours a day. And she loves to design. She likes to drive. She likes to do all of it. So I'm just hoping to get her going, and maybe that's baby steps into growing. So
That's fantastic. Is this your first employee?
Yeah, it is for my flower shop.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I'm excited. I do periodically, like I said, hire drivers, but she's the first one that I'm hiring to actually design and help me out that way.
Great. You know what? That's something that a lot of florists right now are struggling in terms of finding good help.
Yeah.
So what was your process like to find a designer?
Well, she kind of just happened on me. She's a friend of a friend. And so she was a referral, and she's good with just working a few hours here or maybe not working a few days. Because, keeping a consistent workload is the battle, right? You don't want to be paying for somebody and have no workload. So she's very flexible. And so that took a lot of the stress out of hiring her, because I don't feel like I have to employ her a set amount of hours every single day. So it's working out so far. I'm excited. And I'm
That's
hoping I can have her working all day, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. So that's great. But before she came on board, though, you've been a one woman shop, right?
Yep.
I mean, you've
Yep.
you've done everything. So what are some of the challenges there?
What ends up happening is I'm making arrangements right in the morning. Then I go out delivering. And then while I'm out delivering, I'm getting more orders coming through the computer. And you just constantly feel like you're kind of chasing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then the phone's ringing while you're out there. So it gets a little bit stressful, and then you come back and you go out again. And so you kind of always feel, like you're running around. So it would be nice to just be at the shop, have someone else doing the running around while I'm taking care of the business. So I'm getting there. So yeah, I'm hoping that my new gal can do my deliveries and stuff, because that's the negative, I would say, is I feel anxious because more business is coming in while I'm not there. So, because I'm out delivering. But having said that, I actually love delivering too, because I love seeing the people receive the flowers. It's exciting. So I don't know. It's a catch-22.
Yeah, it is.
But it
Yeah.
is doable
Mhm.
for one person to get this done, I mean, it just depends how hard you want to work.
Did you have any help before this at all from anyone?
Nope.
Wow. So you're one woman wrecking crew, huh?
Yep. Yep.
That's great. That's fantastic.
I know. It's fun. It's exciting. And I started it with $500. So yeah.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
incredible.
That was what I had to start it. So and then as I bought my first cooler and then started getting jobs, and I just kind of turned it around like that. I just reinvest my money back into it until now I've got walk-in coolers and racks and just a van that's got the logos on it. It's wrapped. So I'm like legit. It's cute.
Hey, if you arrange your own flowers and you deliver your own flowers,
Yeah.
you're legit enough. You know, you know,
Yeah.
I tell florists all the time when, some of them some florists would get upset because we would have in our network some shops who don't have a retail location. They would have a studio, or they would work out of their garage or whatever, right? And our stance on that is, listen, who you pay rent to is none of our business, right?
Exactly.
If you arrange your own flowers and you deliver your own flowers, you are a florist. You are a local florist. We will provide our services to you.
Right. Well, I am a CFD. I went and I got certified. So I went to Las Vegas and did with AIFD and got certified and did all that. So I am legitimate. I am a real florist.
No one's questioning that. So how long ago was that? I'm just trying to get a gauge the timetable. When did you actually get started?
Let's see here. I opened my shop at home in 2018 in May. So it's pretty new.
Wow. So that wasn't that long ago.
No.
So you went from $500 to doing $120,000 in 2 years?
Yes.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Wow. Were you part of a wire service at any point in that?
Yes. Did that for a couple years, and it worked out good for the beginning, because every order that I do, I attach a business card. So hundreds and hundreds of orders were going out when I first got started with business cards, and now my phone rings, so it's kind of nice.
That's fantastic. So you're wire service free.
Exactly.
All right. Yep. So you're a free woman. That's awesome.
I am. I love it. And then it's awesome because with the Lovingly website, I can just, if I'm overcapacitated for the day, I can turn it off and start filling up for tomorrow. It works perfect.
What does the freedom actually mean for you?
It means a lot of things. It means, we'll start off financially. When you are only getting a percentage of the arrangement, you have to watch every single stem so close. You put 2 extra stems in and now you're upside down. So there's that aspect of it, and the creative freedom, and not having to copy the cookie cutter designs all the time. So those 2 things are the big thing for me. I like the creative freedom, and if there's $2 extra to make, I would like to make it. I work hard, right?
Absolutely.
And so I just strictly do my own business now. I do a lot of weddings, events, things like that. And yeah, so it's working out.
So you also do a lot of weddings. How has the pandemic affected your business?
Well, at first, when the first rolled out, it was scarce. Everybody canceled everything. It came to a complete halt. And then we started seeing a lot of backyard weddings. What were going to be a big wedding is now in somebody's backyard. Saw a lot of that happening, and a lot of rescheduling. And now there's a lot of weddings being scheduled, but they're all outdoors. So everybody's just kind of figuring out a way to make it all work. And outdoors seems to be the key. I've got the whole summer almost booked out already.
Wow.
Yeah.
So people are still getting married.
So yeah, it seems like I'm doing consultations every day.
I know you're passionate about floral design. You said that you literally, can't get enough of it. You watch tons of YouTube video. Is that your preferred method of learning, by the way? YouTube videos in general?
I buy classes and I watch free ones. Buy a lot of magazines. I'm just constantly absorbing whatever I can.
That makes sense that you would be a visual spatial learner, right? Because you're either an auditory sequential learner, which is basically people like to learn by reading a lot. They're linear thinkers. Yep. I am not one of those people. I am a visual spatial learner. I have to do it, see it, or hear it, a podcast. I prefer that. I prefer learning on the web or on YouTube or just videos. Which is strange because I was a horrible student in high school and in college. Like I didn't graduate college and I barely graduated high school. So I didn't consider myself a long life learner until sort of YouTube came along and TED Talks and all these other rich media. And then I just can't get enough.
Well, that's because you're learning the things you're interested in school. Right. We're having to take everything they want us to take, and we're not into it. But now that we get online and start searching, we're searching for things we're interested in. And so it's amazing. I love it.
If I was just graduating school and I had a interest in floral design and owning my flower shop one day, what advice would you have for me if I was just starting out?
I would recommend working for a shop like I did it at first, and trying to figure out the positives and negatives, and figure that part out, and get a good website, right? And I would want to be in an area, like I'm in a great area. I'm in an area where I'm the only florist. I would do my research on my location, and right. I would try to not have a big rent. I think the rent gets people in a compromising position sometimes. So I kind of like working from home, and it seems, with all this pandemic stuff, it's become more acceptable. So I would go that route.
Yeah. That old cliche still works, right? I mean, it's not a cliche, it's real. It's location, location, location.
Exactly. Right? It is. Absolutely. And I love being the only florist in my area. It's helpful.
Every florist has plenty of stories when it comes to customers or recipients, or just crazy stories or awesome stories, sad stories. I mean, everything in between, right?
Right.
Could you share with us some stories, some interesting stories from either customers or recipients that involve them getting flowers?
Absolutely. I get all kinds of different types of things. I've had emotional ones. I've had I didn't actually realize how people use the florist as a service. So I've had people send flowers to someone who will not accept their phone calls,
Mm.
but they'll accept the flowers and say, you know, hey, at 5 o'clock, I'll be there with the police to get my things out of your apartment.
That was a card message?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yes. So there's things like that. You know, it's crazy how it is a form of getting a message to somebody that won't take your call. So I've had things like that, and during the pandemic, when I started giving flowers away for free, I got some emotional calls that was really touching to the heart. I left flowers just for free, and I got a phone call, and the lady had just returned from chemo, her first chemo treatment, and then there was flowers on her door for no reason, and it was it was just moving. Things like that. It's flowers touch people. I mean, it's amazing. Like you're dealing with people on their wedding days, biggest day of their life, uh, on days when they're burying the most important people in their lives. Um, it's just an honor to provide that service for people on those impactful days of their lives. So I don't even know how to put that in words.
I don't know any other industry that deals with like birth, death, and everything in between. I think
Yes.
the closest thing that comes to mind to me is probably Hallmark, right? Like greeting cards.
Mhm.
But you're not giving greeting cards on a first date or second date. That's kind of weird, right?
Right.
But you would but you would flowers, right? So
Right.
flowers is like basically the number one product that is basically always appropriate, right?
Yeah.
I can't think of any other product. Can you?
No, it's absolutely amazing. And yeah, I when I first got started in this, I thought, oh, I do not want to do like the funeral work. I thought, oh, that'll just be depressing and everything. And it is such an honor
Mm.
to do that for people and bring them some type of joy when they need it most. It's incredible.
Attending a funeral or being part of a funeral of someone who's lived a long, healthy, happy life, that's
Yeah,
definitely something to be celebrated. I mean, that's life, right?
yeah, absolutely.
When you were delivering flowers to the woman that just came home from chemo, like what made you give away flowers?
Well, when we first found out about the pandemic, uh, I thought everything was closing down, and it was, right?
Mm.
So I thought I need to empty my box. And then I got a phone call from my wholesaler, and they said, hey, we're going to empty our box. Everything's free. Come get whatever you want, but give it away. And I said, absolutely. So I went, filled my car up, came home, and my daughter and I made arrangements. As fast as I was making them, she's running them down the street, just randomly dropping them off for people. And it was, and everybody was scared at this time. Everything's closing down. It was a crazy time, and it was nice to reach out and give people flowers, and it was amazing. And I emptied out my cooler, and fortunately we were able to keep going, but it was certainly a fun little project. So
And people's reactions, like
oh,
what?
I was getting phone calls. There was people I had one lady call, and she says, oh my goodness, I can't believe you sent me these flowers. My sister was buried in Germany today, and then you sent me these flowers. I mean, you have no idea how you're impacting and the kind of day everyone's having, right?
Right.
And it was just amazing to be able to do that for people.
And did you deliver these flowers with card messages or just the flowers?
I just put a card message on it and said, just hoping to bring a smile to your face. And that was it.
That's amazing. Like I can't, like that's just, pure joy right there.
Yeah, absolutely. And after doing that, I wish I was in a situation where I could just deliver free flowers all the time, because that is so rewarding. I mean, it was crazy. I loved it.
It sounds like the ultimate sort of, SAF has this yearly thing called Pedal It Forward. I'm sure you've heard of
Yeah,
it, right? Yeah.
yeah,
And we participate, we've been participating about 3 or 4 years in a row now. Obviously not this past year.
right.
But it sounds like that's the ultimate pedal it forward, when you literally could just, I mean, the wholesaler just called you up out of nowhere and said, you can have these flowers, but you have to give them away. That was also nice of them, right?
Absolutely, because apparently some of the other flower wholesalers were just throwing flowers away.
Ah,
And so I thought it was really resourceful of them to even call us and tell us to do that. So it was amazing.
that's nice of them. Who was the wholesaler?
It was Flora Fresh in Sacramento.
I think they deserve some kudos for that.
Yeah, absolutely. It was incredible. And so I was thankful for them bringing that up and giving me the idea to do it.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you. So, what some of the interesting facts about you as a person, outside of being a florist, like a one-woman wrecking crew, successful wrecking crew, uh, what are some of the accomplishments you're proud of? What are some of the other things that you're proud of?
Well, I'm proud of, well, I think I'm a good mom. So I'm thankful for that. I hope I'm a good wife. And I am always just trying to be a better version of myself. So I'm always trying to add to things. So, like I know you already know that I learned how to fly
Yes.
an airplane,
Yes.
and that was super fun. And so I like adventure and stuff like that. So creativity and adventure. So.
That's great. And I just have to ask you about the flying part. Sorry. So could you just tell us exactly, like, it's not every day that I talk to a pilot, right? Like I don't even, you're the only pilot I know, actually. So can you walk us through that story? How did that came to be?
So I was in Palm Springs at an event that was selling airplanes at this event. And so how often are you somewhere where they're selling an airplane, right? So of course I looky Lou over there looking in them, and the guy says, "Hey, climb on in." So I climb in and I'm sitting there, and it was a state-of-the-art airplane. It had glass screen. I mean, it was just incredible feeling. I thought, oh, I want to learn how to do this, right?
Yeah.
So I got home and I called the local little airport and I say, "Hey, I want to take lessons, and they go, "Okay, come on out." I come out, and of course it looks like a World War II airplane that I've got to learn how to fly in.
It didn't have a touch screen?
No, didn't have that cool screen, had the little circle things, and I'm like, oh man. But anyway, long story short, it was very exciting. I took a bunch of lessons. I ended up getting like 40 hours of flight time. I've solo flight myself. Then the economy dropped out and I could not justify taking flying lessons anymore. So I had to quit, but it was certainly fun while it lasted. Very exciting.
Did you flew alone?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that was
So
so exciting. But I got to tell you, the first time when your trainer says he's going to get out of the airplane, right? And you're like, "What?" He goes, "Yeah, I'm going to get out, and you take off and land 3 times." And I'm like, "Are you sure I'm ready for this?" It was. I could feel my face it was like getting hot, 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 hot. I was like, oh my gosh. And it was like, no joke. It's not like you can pull over in a car and take a break, right?
right.
So the guy gets out of the airplane and I take off. And when I came in for the landing, I was so nervous that I was overdoing everything. And you've got your yoke, right? And I was like bouncing up and down the runway like a pogo stick. It was horrible, but it was safe. I did it. And then it was all fine after I got through the nerves, but oh, very exciting though.
That
Yeah.
sounds like quite the
And I
rush.
do miss it. I don't know, maybe I'll dabble in that again someday.
I am in awe and I am appreciative because it definitely sounds and looks like you definitely have a growth mindset. And
Yeah.
believe it or not, a lot of, unfortunately, you either have a growth mindset or a fixed mindset. And, unfortunately, most people, I believe, fall on the fixed mindset because they just get comfortable, they get to a routine, and then they just start doing, you know, they're not as hungry to learn new things. So you
Yeah.
just walked into an airplane show or a sale, and next thing you know, you're flying. That's
That's
the
kind of
ultimate.
how I roll. But that's how I roll. When I decided I was going to be a florist, I was a florist. It just happened, right? I just, when I want to do something, I want to do it. And
That's
yeah,
amazing. So
yeah.
so the last question I have for you is, the pandemic is here. It
Mhm.
doesn't look like it's going away anytime soon. Hopefully it will. But like, what do you think is going to happen to the floor industry as a whole if this thing sticks around?
Well, I'm hoping it's not much is going to happen. I'm hoping we're going to all get creative and find ways to live our lives and be safe and healthy. Um, I don't know. I know that back in the Great Depression, I believe the florists were one of the few businesses that actually weren't hit as hard as the other businesses. And I kind of feel my business has changed a little bit over this course, but it hasn't really. I don't think it's going to really affect us that much, other than indoor venues are a problem right now. But other than that, I feel like people are being resourceful and going outside, and I'm still having my weddings and I'm still having events. I'm moving forward, and I don't want to put in my head that it's a stumbling block, because
Right.
if I do that, then it will be. And so, as far as I can see, it's all going to go great. So,
That's fantastic. That's the attitude to have right there.
absolutely.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
yeah.
So thanks so much. Well, thank you for joining us today. It
Thank you
was
for
a it,
having
it
me.
was a pleasure.
All right. You guys
Hope to
take
talk
care.
soon. Take
Aha.
care.
Bye bye.
Bye-bye. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video and want to support the show, please like, share, subscribe, and click the bell icon for more.